Welcome back to my channel, and hi if you're new here, my name is Baimi. I am going into my third year at the University of Hertfordshire and I am studying media and journalism. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of the biggest decisions you make as a university student at Herts, which is where to live. This video is going to be mostly aimed at prospective students who are starting this September, freshers and international students as well. So for quick context, I lived on campus accommodation at the College Lane campus of the University of Hertfordshire during my first year, and then I decided to move off campus for my second and final year of university. If you haven't watched my enhanced on-suite accommodation type, you should definitely check out that video if you're still considering living on campus. By the end of this video, I promise to help you figure out where to search, what to expect, and how to decide between on and off campus accommodation living. So be sure to stay tuned, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and let's get rolling. So as you may well know already, the University of Hertfordshire has two campuses, the College Lane campus and the havilland campus. On the campus, they only have one type of accommodation, and that is a single ensuite. So you get a single bed, your own private shower and toilet. You share a kitchen with about 10 to 12 other people, as well as the living space area. There's also one common room for the entire campus on the havilland. But on the other hand, the College Lane campus has many accommodation options. So you've got single en-suites, you've got just single rooms where you would share like a bathroom with 10 other people, or the townhouse where you have your own double bed, lots of storage space, you share the toilet and shower with one other student. You have studio rooms, which is kind of like your own mini apartment on campus. So you have your own bed, your own kitchen, your own toilet, all in one space. Then you have the enhanced en-suite room, which I lived in my first year, which is basically lots of storage space, really big bed, your own private shower and toilet as well, and then you share the kitchen and the living space area with about 7 other students. On College Lane, they have more than one common room, which I think is definitely a perk, and each common room area on College Lane comes with a laundry room, and I believe the ones on the de Havilland one have laundry rooms depending on the accommodation court that you live in. So those are the halls of residences for students at the University of Hertfordshire. Now, what are the pros for living on campus? Number one for sure is that you are close to your lectures, to the library, and social or nightlife on campus. It's a lot more easier to adjust, especially if you're a first year student or international student. I would say if you're on campus, it's so much more easier for you to feel grounded and settle into the university. Also, it's bills included. You won't have to separately pay your bills towards the university. It's all in that packed price amount, and that includes the Wi-Fi, the heating, and the security. The only thing I would say I wish was included in bills for living on campus is the laundry situation. I mentioned this in my first year review and experience. You have to pay separately to wash and dry clothes, so that is not included in bills. Just wanted to note that for you guys. When I lived on campus in my first year, if I had any maintenance issues, I could just give them a call and email, and usually if you call them early in the day, they'll aim to arrive to you that evening. If you call in the evening, they'll be with you the next morning or the next day. They're super prompt. They get what needs to be sorted out. I would typically have issues with like a clogged shower or like a misaligned drawer, and so they will always help me with that free of charge. Never had to pay separately for that. And another pro is definitely the communal vibe. The Oval, which is like a social community space that also has the gym. It also has a yoga studio upstairs that's used by some societies, as well as the Res Life team. It has like lots of spaces to sit down, chill by yourself or with friends, vending machine. The accommodation help desk is there as well. You also have the common rooms where you can host movie night, game nights, a whole range of social stuff for sure. So that is definitely a pro to living on campus. Now let's get to the cons. It is definitely more expensive to live on campus. A large chunk goes towards heating, Wi-Fi, and all of these other bills and amenities facilities like I've mentioned in the pros earlier. If you want to check the price for each accommodation type, I will leave that down below for you to go ahead and have a look at. To be honest, so far that is the only con I can really think of. In my first year, I did not have the best experience. This had nothing to do with accommodation or living on campus. I guess it was just me and my adjustment to like uni life in general. So I struggled in the sense of interacting and being social and just connecting with like my flatmates or people around. So yeah, that would probably be the only con other than it being more expensive that I can think of at the moment. If there are any current University of Hertfordshire students watching this video, if you can think of any other cons, please share it down in the comments below. I feel like that will help more people. Overall, living in campus was very convenient for me. I love the fact that I could have a 9 a.m. class and wake up at like 8:15, get ready, get out the door, and I'll still make it in time. And usually the distance between that class and my room would be a 3-minute walk. And what I really liked was how secure and fast the postal service at the accommodation help desk is. So if you order something, it will usually arrive to the accommodation help desk. They will send you an email, let you know that your post has been delivered, so come pick it up. There's usually a window of time where you can pick up your post or packages. So that was really great as well. Now let's talk about off-campus accommodation in Hatfield and the surrounding areas. Hatfield is in Hertfordshire, the Hertfordshire County, which is why it's the University of Hertfordshire. Most students who live on campus would usually live in Hatfield because it's closer to campus. Welwyn Garden City, St. Albans, Watford are other cities in Hertfordshire that are also nearby to the university that some students opt for when it comes to off-campus accommodation. For some students, they decide to live in London. So London is about a 30 to 40-minute train ride, depending on what part of London you're from. Luton is also another popular city that I know some students live in when it comes to off-campus accommodation. You might be wondering, oh, why do a lot of students choose to go to these other cities? Why can't every student just decide to live in Hatfield as an off-campus accommodation choice? I would say, in my opinion, Hatfield is a relatively small town. It's not a city, it's not a large city. And so a lot of people, residents, locals, families already live here. So the proportion of off-campus student housing is very limited. Not to say that it doesn't exist, it does, but it's very limited. And that is why a lot of students start looking for off-campus accommodation if they decide to stay in Hatfield very early on. Me personally, when I decided I wanted to live off campus after my first year, I started looking in May because houses go by really quickly because of the amount of students that are in Hatfield to the ratio of student housing that's available. That's why a lot of students decide to go to these other nearby cities, and sometimes it's also just a bit more affordable than living in Hatfield. So the pros of living off campus is, number one, it is more affordable. If you have a budget, you can look for rooms or homes that align with your budget and what you're looking for. Bills are usually cheaper as well. When it comes to paying rent, there's an option of choosing a place where you pay rent and all your bills are included in that rent. So let's say, for example, you're paying $500 a month for a single room and it's bills inclusive. That means your electricity, gas, water, whatnot is all encompassed in that $500 you pay every month. You won't have to pay any bills separately. You don't have to pay council tax when you're a student at the university. Try and look for places where it's bills inclusive in your rent. Also, is more independent if you're ready for adult life and to experience what it means to live on your own, cook on your own, take care of your home, your laundry, all of that. Off-campus accommodation definitely gives you that, and it also gives you more freedom as well. Not to say that you don't get that same freedom living on campus. Living on campus, there's no curfews, there's no restrictions on when you can go out, when you can come back in. You don't need to report to anyone. If you want to have friends come over to your room or guests come visit you, it's also the same. But I would say with off campus, it's just more expansive basically, and it's a very independent way of living for sure. You get to choose your house or flat, so whether you want to live in a house with your friends or other students who are looking as well, or professionals. Hey, let me say this is advice coming from me, me, okay? If you are a student and you want to live off campus, do not live with professionals. I might share a separate story time on a very short-term place I stayed during the summer of last year, and it was with professionals. And I have a lot to say that I will probably cover in that story time. If that's something you guys want, because I feel like that experience could probably help a lot of you, let me know in the comments below. But professionals are on a completely different wavelength to us students. They want things done at a certain rate at a different time, and you're a student, you both have different lives. These are people that do 9 to 5s. You're probably someone that does Monday and Wednesdays of uni and that's it. So there's a lot of different priorities, different things in check, and just to avoid confrontation or the stress of too much pressure, basically, I would strongly advise that you live with fellow students, whether they're master students, undergrads, first year. It's just better to live with university students similar to you. It would make living off campus a much more easier experience than living with professionals, in my opinion and in my previous experience. Now, what are the cons of living off campus? Like I mentioned, some houses or flats, the rent will not always have bills included, so you would have to have the hassle of separately paying your bills every month, even after paying your rent. Also, depending on what area you decide to live, you need to consider the travel or commute time. So if you lived in Hatfield, I would say it's relatively easier. Most students just walk to campus, whatever campus they study at. If you do have to take the bus, it shouldn't be anything longer than 15 minutes. But if you lived in other surrounding areas like Welwyn, St. Albans, Luton, or even London, then you have to consider the bus times, the bus routes, how much they cost, also how many times are you going to be on campus each day. You'd have to calculate how much on transport you're spending every week, every month. Also, there's the issue of landlords or living with other people. I know for some house shares or flats, you might have a living landlord, meaning your landlord lives in the same house as you basically, and that can reduce your freedom or independence. Also, if you decide to live in a house with students on like an individual selection, so let's say you're not choosing to live with a house with a group of friends or people that you already know, you just individually chose this room and you're living with other people, it's something to consider. If you decide to live off campus with other people that you don't know, there's a chance of having tiny minor conflicts or large scale conflicts. Just be safe, respectful, and careful. So now let's talk about how to search, where to look, where to go when it comes to off-campus housing. I'm gonna mention some website and platforms. I used Spare Room. Spare Room, I would say, is one of the most popular ones, especially for house shares. There's also Rightmove, Zoopla. There's also local Facebook groups. So if you're on Facebook, you can have a look and search up student accommodation that is available in Hatfield or the surrounding areas as well. There is also Strat Students. So Strat Students actually have an office on the College Lane campus. They help students find houses tailoring to their budget and their specific needs and requirements. They're also really helpful for like group house shares. So if you and a group of friends or people you already know want to live together in the same house, Strat is really good at pairing people up in the same house. Amber Students is also a really popular accommodation search engine. It's really good for big cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester. Accommodation for students is also another really good one, as well as university living. I'll attach the links to all of these websites down in my description, so be sure to check those out. And yeah, happy searching. Also, when it comes to off-campus accommodation, there is one private student accommodation in the Hatfield area known as Luna. I don't know too much about Luna because I haven't lived there. I have friends and course-mates that do. So what I'm gonna do is ask them what their experience overall for living in Luna has been like, and I will share that with you guys in this video.
Hello, my name is Priya and I'm a current resident at Luna Student Accommodation. I live in a twin ensuite, which means I have my own bathroom, but I have to share my kitchen with one other person. My rent is £245 per week, but that depends based on what room you have and how long your contract is. So we also have studios where you don't have to share your kitchen or your bathroom with anyone else, so the entire space is yours. It's about 20 minutes away from College Lane campus and right across the Havilland campus. And you have got 2 bus stops quite close by. And we have a games room and we also have study rooms. There are also a lot of other additional facilities at Luna. So we have our own basketball court, our own gym, and a private dining area that you can rent out if you want to cook or just chill with your friends. And you can book these places in advance and they are free for the residents. I quite like it because it's a bit more private than the university accommodation and it's in Hatfield and still close by. And yeah, that's my review of Luna. Bye.
Here are my tips for when you're searching. You need to start searching early. It also helps you get the good options. You don't want the scrummy leftovers or the no good houses or homes to live in. So it's very important to start searching early. I would say anytime between spring or summer if you're starting in September. Also, visit the property that you're interested in. And I understand if you're an international student, it's not as easy to go there. So if you don't have the opportunity to see where you would want to live before moving to the UK, ask for a detailed video, in-depth video showing you the room you're looking at, the bathroom, the kitchen, the hallway, living space area. And it's okay to ask. Don't feel shy or bad about asking. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to be living in this property. You need to know what it offers and you need to make sure it aligns with whatever you saw on the advertisement or post that made you drawn to it. So make sure you visit the property before you sign anything if you can. And if you can't, make sure you request a detailed, thorough video. Also, have a budget and stick to that budget. Stick to what you know you can afford and pay for. Let that budget include your rent, if it's bills inclusive, and transport if you're living a bit further away from Hatfield. When it comes to contracts, make sure that you are signing a contract that is best for you. Some contracts are 12 months long, some are 10 months long. Obviously, it all depends on what you want and your preference, but it's always important to ask or go through your contract and make sure the time you have to live in that property aligns with what you actually want. Now let's talk about the cost breakdown. If you're living on campus, depending on room type, you would be paying somewhere around. And if you're living off campus in Hatfield, this is including bills or without bills, you would be paying. Bills are usually around 100 to 150 a month, depending on your lifestyle, depending on the property and how many people else you are living with. So now you might be asking, but Baby, I want you to tell me what to do. Like, where should I live? Like, put yourself in my shoes and tell me where to live. I can't make that decision for you, but I can give you the best advice that I know. Choose on-campus accommodation. If you're new to the UK, you want convenience and you prioritize community, but also want to feel grounded and settle into uni life. Choose off-campus accommodation if you want affordability, more independent, or already have a large group of friends already, so you wouldn't really mind about the whole communal vibe thing. This is what is more important. You have to pick what suits your budget, your lifestyle, and your convenience. What is actually going to be good and beneficial for you. So over the last few months, I've gotten a few questions about off-campus accommodation in general. So I thought I'll do a quick fire round of answering these frequently asked questions pertaining to accommodation. First one, is on-campus worth the money? It honestly depends on what you value. On-campus is definitely more expensive, but at the same time, you're paying for convenience. You're getting to your lectures easier and quicker. You're closer to amenities like the library, and the social and nightlife are all right there in one. But if budget and affordability is your main concern, off-campus is way better in the long run. Question 2, how far are off-campus houses from campus? So most off-campus houses in Hatfield are about a 10 to 20 minute walk, depending on what side of Hatfield you're coming from. Sometimes it can be a short bus ride. There is a shuttle bus that is free of charge for uni students that goes from the DHAF campus to the College Lane campus. But if you live further out like Welwyn Garden City, Luton, St. Albans, you're looking at about 20 to 40 minutes of a bus ride, about the same for a train ride as well. Question 3, can international students rent off campus easily? Yes, you definitely can. Sometimes sometimes it can be trickier because some landlords will ask you for a UK guarantor. So UK guarantor is maybe a friend, family member, someone you already know that lives in the UK and can cover your rents in the case or scenario that you are not able to. If you don't have one, that's okay, because some landlords don't really fret too much on that, and the ones that do might just ask you to pay your rent up front for about maybe 3 months or 6 months. It's just to show that you're actually a serious renter and you're actually willing to pay and you're not going to stall on your payments and all of that. Some companies offer a guarantor service for a certain fee. On-campus accommodation, however, does not require any sort of guarantor. Question 5, can you switch from on-campus to off-campus or vice versa? If you're really unhappy with your housing, you can talk to the accommodation office and they'll try to help. Let's say you're living on campus and you decide, yeah, this isn't for me, I want to live off campus. You can move, but there's usually a bit of a sticky dilemma there. So I remember when I got my contract to live on campus, it was stated there that if I decided to move before my contract or tenancy period ends, I would still have to pay that amount of rent regardless. So that's just important for you guys to be aware of. Contracts are binding whether you live on or off campus, so it's not so easy to just switch mid-year unless it's a very important situation or circumstance that needs that adjustment. Here are my final thoughts. If you're starting your first year at the University of Hertfordshire, congratulations by the way, I highly suggest that you live on campus at least for your first year. It helps you feel more grounded into university life. Everything is an easy convenience close to you nearby, so you don't really have to struggle so much, and that way you can learn about the area, about the university at your own pace and at your own ease. Then come second year, you can make the decision to, you know what, I want to live off campus or I want to continue living here for my second and or third year. Again, I will leave relevant links down below as I have mentioned throughout this video. Please be sure to check those out, and if you have any relevant questions about anything I have shared in this video, please comment down below and let me know. If you guys found this video insightful and helpful, also let me know by leaving a like. That really helps me so much and also lets me know what videos to put out for you guys. And again, if you made it this far and you're new, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And yeah, I hope that helps you guys, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Bye.